guys, welcome back to the channel. As you can see, you're looking at a ultrasonic cleaner. This is the finally long-awaited follow-up video, the sequel to my first video building an ultrasonic cleaner. If you haven't seen that one, I'll put a link in the description below. In this video, I'm going to go through basically how I clean the records and the results, and I'm going to show you at the beginning how I use it, what solution I use. I won't go over into too much detail the attachments I built because that was in the previous video, but I have made a few tweaks that have made a fairly big difference. And for those of you that have seen the first video, you will notice that it's actually a new tank. Long story short, basically in the last one, 2 of the transducers failed, so the vibrations were only down to 33% instead of having 3 at full. The vibrations weren't nearly as strong as they should be, and the cleaning results weren't great. So after a bit of back and forth, they sent me a new one. So anyway, yeah, this is the video. I've got 2 records to test, which I'm going to show you some sound clips of it previously and after it's cleaned. I'm not sure how that will come out in the recording, but we'll see. It'll sort of give you an idea as a test, basically. But yeah, so that's it. So I'll go through the process, I'll go through how it works, I'll go through each button on the front, and hopefully we'll get some good results. Okay, so now we're a bit closer up. You can see the buttons in a bit more detail. It's very simple to use, but I'll just show you how to do it anyway. I'll show you the buttons and then we'll take you around the tank and show you what each thing does. Basically, there's a switch at the back. Switch it on, and on this side you've got your temperature, this side you've got your minutes. So I always make sure it's set at 40. That's the temperature we want to get on while we're ultrasonic cleaning. And this is the actual temperature, so you just got to hit this on and it will start to warm up to 40 degrees. Now if you do switch on the ultrasonic cleaning function, it will heat up a lot quicker because there's a bit of action happening rather than just putting the heat bulb on automatically. We'll get to this further, but basically what I do is I run the water in the bath for 15 minutes anyway, because that removes all the bubbles and the air in the water to make it a bit more optimal for the cleaning. Anyway, and here's your timer. Pretty simple, so you just select what you want. So we want to go 28, and then we hit on and you'll hear it boot up. So there you go. Anyway, so that's an idea of the sound. To give you an idea, basically my neighbors thought I was operating a tattoo parlor out of my apartment because it sounds like a tattoo gun going off. The sound does go through the walls quite easily, unfortunately. I tend not to do it on the weekends when, I guess people are around or my partner's down here, because it does really go through your ears. But anyway, I'm going to lift the camera up and show you a bit around the tank. So obviously these are my attachments, so this is what you would get normally. There's the tank, here's the drain in here, and there's a tap which you can use just to tighten and let water out. As you can see, it's empty at the moment, and on the back there, if you can see, that is the power switch. So there's not really much to it, basically, but that's generally it. This is a 5.3 litre. Jeez, I haven't looked at this in a while. I'm 90% sure it's 6.5 litre one. What I'm going to do is I will show you a little shot of the model number, because a few people have asked me about that, what the exact one is. So here's a bit of detail on the tank. This is the model number and a bit of information about it. Basically, I'm sure if you type that model number into eBay, let's see if the camera focuses, you should be able to find the one that I have here. That's where I got mine. It tended to be the cheapest way for me in New Zealand. I'm sure domestically in your countries you'll have them there, but I had to get mine shipped from China, so shipping wasn't cheap. But if you can get it domestically, then that's probably the way to go. So yeah, that's a bit about the tank itself. What we'll do next is we'll get into the cleaning process. I'll show you how I do it. And then once that's done, we'll do a bit of a test. And I'll clean up 2 records and we'll look at the results. Now before we go any further, I just thought I should show you the 3 homemade attachments that I made myself, which you can see and learn about in a previous video, but these are the things that you need to basically attach the record safely into the tank, which means when the record rotates in the tank, it's getting cleaned all the way around. The first thing you need, you need all 3 of them, but I handmade, just using a saw and some sandpaper. You can watch the previous video to see this in detail. This one's still a bit rough. I actually need to make a better one when I get access to a bit of a workshop space. Living in an inner city apartment here, don't have that luxury. Anyway, basically this is something that will attaches on here to the side, if you can see that. And there's another one here which is essentially exactly the same, but instead of having a thing on top, it has a motor. Now this motor will be used to rotate the record around in the tank. This is a very slow motor that rotates at, geez, what was it, 3 rotations per minute? Yeah, I think it was 3, and it's got a bit of a foam thing on there just to make sure it sits securely on. So this one goes on there, and then this one attaches this side. Basically, the motor is attached, and I'll show you that. Attached, I soldered it and then taped it just to make sure it doesn't move around onto the back here. And it's attached via USB, so you stick it into USB and you're good to go. Now that's for those parts. Now what you need is something that's going to sit. You probably can't really even see that, can you, from this angle? I wonder if I can lift this over. So there you sort of can see. That's how it works, so that it runs across the top. Now what we need is something that's going to sit across the middle of the tank, which is this thing here. It's simply just a rod. These are just bits and bats I found from my local hardware shop. The end here is very hard to see, but it's basically a dowel, and I've got a bit of heat sink tubing that I managed to heat up using a hairdryer of all things, that attaches to the motor, with the plastic strip around just to hold it together, and basically bulldog clips. So I'll see if you can, hopefully the camera's focusing, I can't really see. What will happen is essentially your record will go in here, put these back on, make sure it's tight, add the bulldog clip, attach this on, spin the motor, and voila, that's the theory. I'll show you a bit better close up. I need to adjust the angle on the camera a bit, and we'll see how it works and how it rotates, but that's how the attachments part of it work. I thought what I would do is I will show you that again, but with a better angle, just so it makes a bit more sense. So essentially this one goes on here, like that, just make sure it's nice and stable. And the motor goes on here. Now you just want to make sure that these two are exactly in the middle, so what you want is you want this line here to line up with here. I've sort of managed to get them now so they've locked into a really good space so they actually don't move at all. I could probably get this all a lot better and a lot cleaner. Now that I know what I'm doing, if I wanted to rebuild it and sand it properly, I could probably get that done. I'm just shit at carpentry in general, basically. But the theory is, we've got this end here that will attach to here. What I'll do is I'll put a record on there to show you. We've got the lovely Bert Jansch record, Birthday Blues. So, I don't know if you can see this, but we will attach through the hole, and then put both these on here, 1 and 2. Make sure it's nice and tight, put the clip on, and then attach this to here. It's nice and snug, and you just want to make sure it balances. Geez, the angle of the camera does not help, but it looks very off, doesn't it? And what will happen is, I'll switch the motor on. You'll see, you want to make sure that the ends aren't touching, but you can slowly see there that the record is rotating very slowly at 3 revolutions per minute. It's going very slow. If you look at the light, you can probably see it moving around. So obviously there's no water in here at the moment, and we have to get the ultrasonic action happening, and that's where the magic really happens, but that's just the theory of how it rotates. Now for the water, the chemicals, the process, all that good stuff coming up. Alright, so the first thing we want to do, kind of obviously, is fill the tank up with water. So it will be filled up to just to this line here. Some people swear by distilled water. I don't really want to be spending that amount of money on distilled water every time I clean, so I just use normal tap water. It's pretty decent here in New Zealand, so I'm okay with that. So we're going to fill that up with tap water, and then we need to get it up to 40 degrees. So what will happen is I'll fill it up, and then I will run the ultrasonics for 15 minutes, and what that will do is it will take out all the air bubbles and help getting it up to temperature. Once the 15 minutes is done, I normally then put in the cleaning solution, which I'll get to at that point, and run it for another 15 minutes, and that will mean that the solution will sort of equalize with the water temperature, and it will start to mix together to make an even mixture throughout the tank. So then everything should all be at the same temperature and should all be mixed in, and the water should be debubbleized. That's not the right word, is it? Yeah, all the air and bubbles and oxygen will be popped out, and we'll get something that's ready to use for cleaning the record, basically. So it's a bit of prep, but once you get everything in and working, it's worth it for when you can knock, some records that you thought were useless, you can knock up a few grades. Yeah, so what happens is that from here, I'll fill up the tank, I'll get the buzzing away, and then when we get to the point of the cleaning mixture, we'll talk about that. Alright, let's do it. Alright, so the water in the tank has been buzzing away for 15 minutes. As you can probably see in the background, it's just come up to 37 degrees. So now what I'm going to do is chuck in the cleaning ingredients, the cleaning solution, and mix that in, and then we're going to run it for probably another 10 minutes, and that should probably bring it up to around 40 degrees, and then we're good to go. So basically we've got two ingredients for this. The first one is the isopropyl alcohol. You all know this, you can buy it pretty easily and cheaply around. We put 30 mils of this in, and the next one is the Kodak Photo Flow, the camera's not really focusing there, Professional 200. So essentially this basically makes the solution very, I suppose what's the word, liquidy and loose, which enables it to get into the grooves and bring the water, the dirt out to the surface, and that is only 5 mils. So what I'm going to do is pour it into here, mix it up, and we'll pour it in the ultrasonic cleaner. So using these handy mixing spoons, we're going to measure out 30. Two of these. 1, 2, and then we got 5 mils. Where we got it? 5 mils, that's the yellow one. And, sorry, 5 of these. It's probably a bit too much there, but that's okay. I just give it a bit of a mix. What a lovely sound. And then what I normally do is I just pour it carefully across the top of the tank water. And then once that's in, you probably can't see this. Whoa! Bit of a, just give it a stir. The water's looking lovely and clean. Just to make sure it's all mixed in there. I found that the first time I did it, if I didn't mix it in properly, the solution would just get pushed to the edges by the ultrasonic. So I really wanted to make sure it gets mixed in properly throughout the whole tank, and that makes a massive difference for me. Just something you learn along the way, I guess. So as you can see, there's a few bubbles here, so we're going to run it again for another 10 minutes. 10 minutes. Sadly, you've got to go all the way down. And we'll come back in 10 and we should be good to start cleaning. Let's do it. Alright, so this is what we're going to clean. It's a record I just picked up a couple of days ago. I've been after for about a year. I found it locally and really cheap, which I was stoked with, but the catch is it's a little bit noisy. I think this should clean up pretty good. So what I'm going to do is just show you a bit of a sound clip on this. I won't go for very long at all because I know the YouTube copyright police will jump on this straight away. They seem to have really picked up in the past sort of 6 months or so. So we'll give it about 10 seconds and yeah, that's your sample. Wonderful record, by the way. Please check it out. I'll talk about it in another recent Vinyl Finds video in a bit more detail. Yeah, fantastic on Shelter Records. But yeah, here's a needle drop.
Spider John is my name, friends. I'm in between freights and sure be blind.
Hopefully that's under the copyright laws. We'll see what happens. Alright, the next record you will all know for sure. I got this recently. It was a bit of a grail for me. The Stooges' Funhouse. This is an original French pressing. The cover itself is in absolutely immaculate shape. The record unfortunately has lots of clicks and pops. It's not too bad because the music's really loud, but I just want to give this a go and give it a clean because I don't think it's been cleaned basically since whenever this came out. I'm going to try doing a needle drop on this. I don't think you will hear much just because the music's quite loud, but I can definitely hear lots of clicks and pops and stuff like that. I'll do my best to try and capture it on here, but I can't. I don't know what will happen. And we are done. Alright, we're about ready to get the record in the solution and get it cleaned. I just thought I would show you quickly the ultrasonic cleaning and how the vibrations appear on the water. I'm not sure if it will come out in the camera, but essentially you should see lots of small tiny little waves. Yeah. So that's what it looks like, basically. Tiny micro little waves pulsing around. Let's get this party started. First in will be the Willis Allen Ramsey record. Just attaching the record here. Nice and tight. That's that. I can see it's not quite touching the thing. Just setting up so it's sitting in the middle. This is nice and tight. Plug in the motor. I usually just let it go for a little bit to make sure it's rotating properly. Set the timer to 30. Yep, seems to be working fine, so now I'm going to hit start and leave it for 30 minutes and we'll come back in 30 minutes, let it dry, and I'll show you how I give it a bit of a clean at the end and a dry as well, and then once it's dry we'll give it a listen and see what the outcome is. Alright, let's do it. See you in 30. It's done. Now I need to take the record out, and what I'm going to do is I have a spin clean here which is just full of cold, clean, sparkling, nice water. I'm going to give it a wash and chuck it on the rack and then let it dry and we'll see what happens. I mean, I always just give it a little spin clean at the end just to make sure any sort of solution is washed off and it's nice and clean. I guess think of it like you go in the shower, you wash your hair with shampoo, and you wash it out, right? You don't just leave it on there, so it's always nice to have any residue removed. And then that will probably take around 20 minutes to dry. I I could put a drop of alcohol in the mix just to help it dry quicker, but I won't do that. I just want to let it dry naturally. And while that's drying, I'll put in the Iggy Pop, the Stooges record, and let that go. And then at the end, we'll be able to see what's clean. So I don't know if you can see this. I usually, as I lift it out, I usually just give it a quick shake just to make sure anything's off. And the spin clean. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I don't know why, that's just what I always do. Let it dry off. I can already see it's looking heaps cleaner. Yeah. Alright, in the rack, I'm not going to film the Stooges record going in. I mean, it's exactly the same in theory, but we'll cut to the end when it's both dry. Alright, see you in the future. Hopefully I've got 2 lovely clean records. Fingers crossed. And the Stooges is done. Here we go. Take off the lovely brown label there. 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. One for good luck. Cool. There we go. Give it a dry. And that's done.
Spider John is my name, friends. I'm in between freights and sure be blind.
Alright, the moment of truth has arrived. So this has been in for 30 minutes. If it's still a bit noisy, I can always give it another clean in that mix and the difference for deep cleans. This should have come out quite a bit better. I'm not expecting an immaculate clean thing, but it at least should have gone up a few grades. Here we go. Silent.
Spider John is my name, friends. I'm in between freights and sure be blind. I could share your company.
Wow, okay, that's a big difference. There's a few tiny little crackles, but there's nothing really noticeable. Yeah, that's a big difference. You probably can't really hear it very well, but yeah, that's amazing. I may even chuck it in for an extra half an hour and that should clear it right up. But overall, I'm pretty happy with that. Mission accomplished. Next up we got the Stooges. I'm not really expecting much of a difference from this one. We'll see. Here we go. Yeah, still a bit of crackle. So, not a huge difference. It's definitely an improvement. Overall the recording now sounds a lot cleaner than before. Not necessarily in terms of crackles and dust, but it sounds a bit more open, which is really interesting. This has happened a few times with ultrasonic cleaning. It's sort of like a layer of like cloud has come off some of these records, and everything just sounds a bit more, I guess, focused in some things. I mean, I'm going to drop the needle a bit further in, and you know, it's basically silent. I think it's just the opening track on side 2. I mean, yeah, the rest of it's basically silent. This will be a good test. Yeah. It's mainly just those first opening tracks, I guess. Pretty happy with that overall. So there we go. That's the video done. Now I'm going to put these in nice new inner sleeves. Just to show you those. I put them in these, if you can see, there's these thick double-sided rice paper ones, which are really lovely, and they go in a nice outer sleeve. And then we're done. And that brings us to the end of the video. If you can still hear buzzing, the ultrasonic cleaner is actually upstairs in the spare room, so that gives you an idea that you can actually hear it downstairs, so it is quite noisy. But as far as those 2 records go, I'm pretty happy with the result there. I actually chucked in the Willis Allen Ramsey for an extra half an hour, and it's now basically silent, which is fantastic. So, the thing is, I feel like this ultrasonic cleaner, the hype machine is absolutely huge. There's some big promises written online, some big statements. It's the same with lots of audiophile things, I guess, but you know, some people are saying records that were previously ruined are now absolutely immaculate. So there's some massive claims. I won't say it's massive claims. Definitely some records don't really make a difference when they're clean. Some of them only go up, half a grade, if that. Some of them do. It all seems to depend on the record. I mean, everything at least will go up from, say, a VG to a VG plus, or if it's a VG plus and in good shape, it can go up to a near mint quite easily because it hasn't been used heavily. So everything at least goes up a grade, I suppose. So in that case, it's definitely worth it. But the downsides are it's quite a lot of hassle in terms of setting up the tank for the time, getting the water heated and the ingredients in there, and the noise is a big downside. So in terms of convenience, it's not ideal. In terms of price, it's definitely value for money, especially if you hand make the parts like I did. Also, that was a bit of an effort too, but it's also quite fun, something for me to do and learn how to make those parts. It was kind of a fun little project. So overall, I'm happy. I don't really feel like I need to change to anything at the moment or switch it up to a VPI or anything like that. I don't feel unsatisfied. So overall, I would definitely recommend it. Something to try out. Just make sure you've got a space where you can, basically put it in a soundproof room. Otherwise, your neighbors will be asking if you're running a tattoo parlor. So there we go. Let me know what you think to the video. Leave some comments below. I put a bit of effort into making this one, so it'd be great to hear what you think. And any questions or anything I forgot to answer, please let me know. I'm happy to answer anything. Alright, onwards and upwards. I'll be putting up a Vinyl Finds video pretty soon. Some things I found this year. So please stay tuned for that. Some really big records in there I'm really happy to have. Alright, thanks guys. Cheers.